We are still continuing with the functions and looking at domain and range. Here are some few questions. Find the domain of the function. We have the first function, f of x is equal to x squared, and x plus 4 divided by x squared minus 9. So can we find the domain of this function? Okay, so we have f of x is equal to x plus 4 divided by x squared minus 9. Okay, so in finding the domain of a rational function, this is an example of a rational function. Okay, rational function. So to find the domain of a rational function, you don't want to divide by 0, okay? So we want to have this function such that x squared minus 9 should not be equal to 0, okay? And we want x squared, okay? You can use a difference of two squares and have x minus 3 into x plus 3 should not be equal to 0, okay? So you don't want to have x is equal to a negative 3, okay? And you don't want to have x is equal to 3. No, these have to be excluded from the domain. So what happens is, okay, if x is negative 3 and x is positive 3, then the function is not defined. So we now come to the number line here and it's okay. We don't want a negative 3 and then a 3, okay? So what happens for values of x which are less than negative 3? So we want to have values of x from negative infinity up to negative 3, but not including. So this is an open set, okay? We also can take values from negative 3, okay? Less x, that is from negative 3 to 3, but we exclude 3 and positive 3. Then we want to have 3 to infinity, okay? So the domain of this function is, so domain of x plus 4 divided by x squared minus 9 is, okay, negative infinity to 3, an open set union, okay? 3 negative to positive 3, okay? Then union 3 up to infinity. That's the domain of that rational function, okay? It excludes just the negative 3 and the positive 3, okay? So when you're finding the domain, you have to make sure that the function you are the values of x, okay? When you plug in the function, they will give you real values of the function, because when you are dealing with functions, we want to deal with the real values of the function, okay? So that's the domain of that function. Next, you have f of p is equal to the square root of 2 minus the square root of p, okay? Look at this beautiful question. So what's the domain of this function? Okay, so you want to have, you know that when you are taking a square root of a number, you cannot take square root of negatives. If you take square root of negatives, then to take you to complex numbers. So we want to have the square root of p, okay, should be minimum 0, okay, but it has to be a positive. So it is greater or equal to 0, okay? So we want to have values of p if you square both sides. We want to have values of p that are greater or equal to 0, okay? And then we also want to have 2, okay? 2 minus the root of p, okay? The inside of that radical should be greater or equal to 0, okay? Let's have these two crossover and go to the right-hand side. We have 2 is greater or equal to root of p. Squaring both sides gives me 4 is greater or equal to p. So this is the situation on the next page. You want to have values of p that are more than 0. And then you want to have values of p that are greater or equal to 4, okay? So this is the intersection, okay? We want to have the values of p have to be greater or equal to, no, have to be less, okay? This says 4 is more than p. So p is less or equal to 4. So we want to have values of p that are less or equal to 4, okay? And then intersection P more than or equal to 0. So the domain of this function, okay, is the set, which is 4 to 0. It is a closed set. It includes 4 and includes 0. So, okay, so if you are taking the square root of 2 minus the square root of P, okay, then you want to have values of P from 0, okay, up to, okay, from 0 up to. So I think I did not even do this well. So let me change this and have this as, because on a number line 0 comes first. So this is 0 and this is 4. So you want the intersection, okay? You want from 0 up to 4. So 0 up to 4 is the best, okay? That is 0 to 4, okay? So the only values of P, okay, from 0 up to 4 will work for this function f of P. If you